Welcome back to episode 14 of Fork This City. On today's episode, we're heading to Greenwich Village to check out Chada, a Thai spot that opened in 2025 from the team behind Soothr. We dive into our full meal, the dishes that impressed us, the ones that maybe didn't quite hit the mark, and of course, some classic restaurant observations, including a very, very loud date happening 2 tables over that turned into a full lesson on table etiquette. And if you're listening to this episode, shame on you. Then later in the episode, we're joined by JaxxSnax. Jacqueline is a classically trained French pastry chef known for her incredible baked goods, especially her babka. We talk with her about building her business, how she's grown through social media and content, and what goes into creating pastries that people line up for. So whether you're here for a Greenwich Village restaurant review or to hear from one of the city's rising pastry creators, we've got a great episode for you. Let's get into it. This is Fork the City. I'm your co-host, Josh Einbinder, joined alongside the one and only Gabby Martin.
Good to be here. Good to be here. I'm glad we're on episode 14. We're really making it. We're gonna jump into Chada. How long have you been talking about going to Chada for?
I think December. I think late November,
No,
early
I think it's
December.
been longer
No,
than
I don't think it's. I didn't know about the restaurant in the fall, but I'll tell you this.
oh.
Um, if you go on Belly, if you look, it doesn't have like the highest average score in the world. I actually think the average score is like in the high sevens. But when it opened, there was a lot of hype around the place. It was getting a lot of high ratings, and so I saw that Elliot and Judy had posted, come with us to one of the new high-rated Thai restaurants, and that's when I bookmarked it and was like, all right, I want to try it.
Well, when you told me it was like by the same people as Soothed, like I was already into it because that's one of my favorite restaurants. And they also own Sep or Sap, however you say it.
Mhm.
So this meal, like in my mind, was gonna be good. So I was very happy to go there.
I want to start from the beginning. We were seated at 7:33. Now I know we give 15 minutes grace period, but if you read my belly review, I wasn't particularly thrilled. It was less about being seated 3 minutes late. It was as soon as we were seated, the hostess or the waiter came up to me and goes, "You have the table for 90 minutes." And I wanted to be like, dude, it sounds like a threat, first of all. And two, don't make me feel like the second I'm sitting, I have to rush. And
Yeah,
it's just that's not good hospitality off the bat.
I agree. I think it was worded really oddly. I was like going to the bathroom while they were telling that to you. It just wasn't necessary because we actually were gone way before the 90-minute mark anyway. So they just kind of made you mad for no good reason because it didn't need to be said.
And I also want to talk about the couple 2 seats over from us. Now, it's less about the couple, so I don't want to single them out
It's the
specifically,
girl.
but in general, if you're listening, please let's not forget a restaurant is a public space. Treat where you are with respect. She was very loud, and it's okay to like let your personality shine through, but she was screaming as if she had a microphone on. My point being, you just have to respect the public space. There's a great scene in Curb Your Enthusiasm where he talks about do you respect wood when it's like putting cold water on a coffee table because you should always use a coaster. And in the same logic, it's like do you respect other people? If you do, keep your conversation a little bit more quiet. Don't be so obnoxious. And I really do think she's going to get the fork you of this episode because,
Mhm.
again, rent out the restaurant if you're going to be so loud. And then on top of that, she's basically making out with her boyfriend or date while we're all sitting there. There's a time and place for that, and
Got it.
I
Yeah.
hope you're listening, and I hope you know that you should be embarrassed for your.
Well, yeah, I agree with you. And I am one to talk loudly, and so are you. And
Mhm.
I think this might come across as being hypocritical, but we're really not. What she was doing was definitely unacceptable. We were a few tables over. We weren't even directly next to her, and they were already sitting as a couple eating for a few minutes before the screaming started. Like it was a jump scare when all of a sudden she is just screaming, and it's not a fight. It's like happy, excited conversation and
Yeah.
everyone looked at them. Like there was a couple next to us that was closer to them and they were like, "What is going on over here?" No social awareness whatsoever. And then I really didn't need you to point it out, but you were like, "Look, look, look." And the girl was then so they were sitting across from each other, not in the corner, not next to each other. She got up to just like make out with him mid-dinner and you
Yeah.
had to point it out because I didn't even notice.
It
And
was
then we are all
I had to
staring
point it
and we're
out
like,
because
oh my God.
it's ridiculous. Like Get a room. You are in a public restaurant. I really was disturbed. And I think this goes to a broader action. This is a food podcast, not a life podcast, but I feel like people just have less and less respect for one another these days, and that's just not how to behave in a restaurant. Completely
Wait, I
irresponsible.
agree. No, it's not even the restaurant. People don't know how to behave anywhere.
Hmm.
And okay, I was not planning on talking about this. So I was on the subway, the end downtown. This lady next to me starts cutting her fingernails and just brushing them off onto the floor. Like, I get it's New York City, but it's speaking to this same idea that people do not know how to act. That's why these days I don't want to go to a Broadway show because we know the last time I went to a Broadway show,
Etiquette at theaters
lady,
is terrible.
the etiquette, a lady, like, I don't want to embarrass her. She, like, got ill next to me. So if you have any good examples that come to mind, those are the ones that come to mind for me. But just come on, like, get it together. So, and it wasn't like a 5 second makeout, whatever. We're not PDA haters. We're really
Mhm.
not.
Go
Um,
give your significant other a kiss or your date a kiss.
that's
It, it
fine.
it's one
It was
thing
like
like
more
a
than
quick
10 seconds.
yeah, a quick smooch is okay, but like the fact that the table of four that we were sitting at was all looking, I mean, come on. That's
And the couple next to
and a
them.
couple extras. It just please, if you're listening, really take the time to recognize what you as an individual are doing. Are you walking on the right side of the sidewalk? Are you,
Good
communicating
example.
at a high volume? Like, we just really need to be more aware of what we do as human beings. I think that's very important. And I like to think that I'm
Mm-hmm.
very aware. I'm sure I'm not always, but
Mm.
please, Gab, you too. But
That's why this is why this sounds hypocritical coming from us.
but I
And we're
really
understanding that.
the way I think though, I believe that everything I do for the most part is what other humans should do.
Yeah, and another example I think of is when people like played their TikToks or videos out loud on a
Ugh,
plane.
terrible, terrible,
Same
terrible.
type of thing. So, okay, shout out to her. We also walked by her. She was waiting at Madison Fair for some froyo after dinner. If you were like, oh, maybe she's talking about me, that would confirm it.
Yeah, that would be you.
We happened to walk by her like a few streets later, like when we were done with dinner, and we were like, oh my God, that's her.
Like you should be
Um,
embarrassed for how you conducted yourself last night.
well, you should be embarrassed that we then recognized you out of the context of the restaurant for your
Yes.
behavior.
Yes.
Okay, enough about her. She's taking up too much of our
Yes.
mental space.
This is a food podcast, not a etiquette podcast. So let's dive into Chada and the food and the service. Gabby, we started with two dishes, the folded dumplings with the coconut milk sauce and also the surf and turf dumplings, to which I think you were a big fan of the folded dumpling.
Obsessed. I loved this meal. We did forget to mention one thing. It smells like BO when you walk in, and that was really not helpful. However, we got used to the smell, so I just want to put it out there. If you go to Chada, be aware that, and Josh and Gabby warned you, doesn't smell great.
I do think it was probably the food. So I'm not sure if it was a
I
person because it I think
I'm
it's
not saying it was a
remember
person. It just that was the smell I was getting.
yeah.
It could have been. I've been plenty of Thai places that are delicious, owned by the same people, and it doesn't smell like that.
Yeah. Unclear. Maybe we'll have to go back a second time to see if it still
Um,
smells.
yeah, but okay, back to the dumplings. Sorry for that tangent. I was obsessed. It was basically like a peanut noodle. So like the dumpling was almost like the noodle around the peanuts, and it was delicious. I really, really loved it.
It was really good. I also like the surf and turf dumplings too, but those are effectively shrimp shumai with some pork in them. Um,
Too much meat for me inside of the dumpling in that one.
my one complaint, and you know this, I thought the pricing didn't reflect the portion size. So I think it was $15 for the folded dumpling, $16 for the surf and turf.
Hmm.
Four came in each. I understand it's an appetizer, so I understand it's a scaled down version of a plate, but really for that price, I would at least like a bigger dumpling or more dumplings. Four is not enough.
How many usually come in
So
an
at Chinese
appetizer
restaurants, you usually will get 6 to 8 dumplings depending on the place.
for an app?
For an app, yes, usually 6 to 8.
Interesting. I would buy those folded ones over and over again for that price. I would not get the other what was the other the surf and turf. Also, you can't convince me that was surf and turf. It was like grounded up meat. It
I'm
wasn't you
not sure
couldn't
why
even
you
tell what it
you you
was.
were a little confused about this last night. Surf, it's just anything that's from the sea and from the land. So it's shrimp from the sea and pork from the land.
I did not okay, in my mind, surf and turf was like steak and lobster, and you couldn't tell me otherwise, but I understand that. It wasn't that. There was no proof to me that was shrimp. It was just like chopped
It
stuff
was more
inside of a
pork. I
dumpling.
think it leaned more pork than shrimp, like in terms of the
I
like
don't know if you looked at
portion.
a picture of the inside of it, it didn't look like
I
anything.
got a hint of seafood in there. I think it was chopped. That's why.
I mean, it was really chopped, so I'm just saying, like, nothing special about it. Yeah. So
But
sometimes I get a little confused.
we can
But
talk about the mains, and I did think some of those
yeah,
dishes were special. We got the patsy ew with beef, which was fantastic. Truly my favorite dish of the night. Thought it was
same.
brilliant.
The pad see ew, 10 out of 10. Honestly, no notes. If I were to go back, I would get that again. I would even get it if I was with people who didn't like to share and I had to choose one dish, which I don't like to do. I would choose that as my dish. It was
Yeah.
that good. The
And for
noodles, perfect. The steak, also perfect.
people listening who haven't had patsy ew, it's effectively the Thai version of beef chow fun, thicker noodles with beef. Um,
So I don't know why I thought this. I thought at some places pad see ew is actually really thin noodles, like rice noodles.
I think there are variations because I have had thinner noodles at other places, but I did like that the noodle was a thick noodle here
Same.
at Chada. I appreciated that. And similarly, another mainstream dish that we did get before we get into the more two unique ones was the shrimp pad thai. I think you were kind of full at that time, but it was
Oh
good. There was nothing
man,
wrong with it.
because we like chose what we were ordering and then I didn't hear, but the waiter I guess told Josh it wasn't enough, even though it totally was. And then he ordered the pad thai. So I was so full. I had one bite of it and it was amazing and I wish I got to eat more of it.
It was really good. The shrimp was good, and I'm not like the biggest shrimp fan in the world. Those are two things. Like if
Yeah.
I lived over there, I would go get either the pad thai or the pad see ew for takeout consistently.
I want to have the pad see ew again. And that's a big statement, I think, coming from this podcast.
Yeah, it was good, really good. And then the two other dishes that I don't know if they were I mean, I know how you feel, but neither one of them were standouts to me. We had the cow soy, which was good, wasn't great to me. It was solid. Not a dish that I would normally get. I don't really like curry-based dishes. I don't know how you felt about that one.
I loved the cow soy. I loved three out of the four. So yeah, I loved the cow soy. If you like massaman curry, so they have this cow soy at Soothr too, and it's the same thing. It's just a creamy orangey sauce. I don't know how to explain. It's like sweet, and there was chicken in it, and new and like it was kind of ramen-y noodles. I
Hmm.
don't. It wasn't ramen, but it was like squiggly ramen vibes. Delicious. I put that sauce over my rice too. Absolutely love the cow soy.
And last but not least, which is funny enough, probably all of our least favorite dish, even though it's looks and seems like their most famous dish, which is
Mhm.
the beef tallow fried rice. I actually thought, now, if you're listening, beef tallow is fat. So, like, it is a fatty steak. I
I didn't
thought,
know that.
yeah, the beef is and was tasty, but there was no standout quality about the fried rice whatsoever that made it feel unique. So, it really was just like steak on top of rice.
Yeah, it wasn't standard. I think we have to mention it wasn't standard fried rice. There were not many vegetables mixed into it. I could barely see anything. I had one bite because once again was full from I ate a lot of pad see ew, but I would say like what was in that rice?
I liked it. I don't like a lot of vegetables in my rice, so I was happy with it.
But
It just didn't
fried
the taste
rice.
wasn't, you
Oh,
know,
the taste wasn't there.
the
But fried
taste
rice
was
is
like
usually like
fine.
onions, eggs, could be carrots, could
Yeah, I
be
didn't see any eggs in
peas.
there.
I know, so it wasn't fried rice. It was just like plain rice.
Yeah. But listen,
Uh,
overall, I gave Chada an 8.7. Rough first impression, but it got better as the meal went on. I would definitely go back, but also when I say that, probably not because I like to try new places at the same time. So I'd come back, but there are other Thai
I
places
would,
that I'd like to try.
yeah. I gave it a 9.3. I really, really loved it, actually. I would go back, but there's basically like now in my mind, like Soothe, Sap, and Chada are the same place.
Hmm.
Please don't yell at me on TikTok for this comment. Please. I see it coming.
Yeah,
But to
TikTok's.
me,
Can we also talk about this? TikTok is very harsh compared to Instagram.
yeah, okay, wait, let's get to that in a second. But like they're interchangeable to me. I think it's all great. So if I can get the pad see at one of those three, I'm just gonna go to whichever one is I'm closer to or easier to get into. But all of those to me on Belly are in the 9 range. Um, anything last words about that before we talk about TikTok for a moment?
I agree. Overall, it was a good experience. It's nice inside, kind of exactly what you'd expect, I think. And it was a good meal, and I'm happy I tried it and can cross it off the list.
I wish they had matchbooks, but whatever.
I don't care about the matchbooks. I think it's
Hey,
because I'm a guy.
Well, I do, and it's nice when you get one and you can add it to your collection. So yeah, what is up with you guys on TikTok these days? I know we said we love the hate, and we do actually. Like, we've never been upset about something, but like, what the heck is wrong with you guys? Like, you guys on TikTok are so
Ruthless.
mean for no reason. And then we post everything that we post on Instagram and TikTok. Have we ever gotten a hate comment on
I
Instagram?
don't think we've gotten a hate comment yet on Instagram.
And then like on TikTok, we'll just post like us. The standout one is when we told Faikos, whatever, don't yell at me for how I said it, that their hours were wrong, which in our mind is helpful. We are saying like that's something you need to fix. The amount of you that decided that we just suck for saying that, crazy.
Also, huge bone to pick with all the TikTok comments. They're like, you said on the episode, "Oh, we heard about this place through the grapevine," and they're like,
Oh my
"How'd you
God.
hear about this place through the grapevine? It's the most famous place in the West Village." I'm
It's an
sorry,
institution.
Gabby's from Boca Raton and moved here a year ago, and I've lived here for 4 years, but I don't know every restaurant in the city. So when we say we didn't know about it, we're telling the truth. We didn't
Also,
know about it.
why does it matter that I heard about Also, when you hear about something through the grapevine, that just means people were talking about it.
Hmm.
Is that not what it means?
No, you're hearing about it from other people. Yeah.
Yeah, which is what happened. How did you want me to know? It's just supposed to be an innate thing that I'm born going, FICOS is an institution in New York City. Like, yeah, the grapevine comment got a lot of commentary,
Yeah.
but keep it up. We love you guys. It's just interesting TikTok versus Instagram, the people out there.
Yeah, it is. It's a
And then
weird
you were
thing.
like, just go watch the pod. And someone goes, no.
No.
Oh my goodness. And then, okay, we also want to talk about memes because, as we've talked about in previous episodes, frozen yogurt is making a large comeback. It's annoying because they're all like modern, trendy places, not so much accessible places. So, Mimi's frozen yogurt opened yesterday, their second location on University downtown near Union Square. And the line was absolutely insane. I think we waited on it for 5 minutes before we realized it was going to be over an hour. Would you agree with that?
I think it was pathetic how long the line was. Like, I don't
Yeah.
care. You can comment and say this place is amazing. That's ridiculous. And
And I,
also, we looked inside when we got offline to see how long the line stretched inside. It looked like there was no one trying to move traffic along. Shame on you, Mimi's. Shame on you.
oh, see, I'm not that mad at them. I think good for them. They got the hype. It's just, I would never wait that long for Froyo. Froyo is supposed to be like a quick, chill, in and out thing. And I understand it's warmer outside, so people are really excited. They want to get Froyo and totally fine. But it's just funny. It was like a mosh pit outside. Like the
Yeah.
line wasn't even straight. It was like a crowd. And then I think we got to talk about the girl behind us. We love you, and we don't know her. She's probably 20 years old, and so we were like the last ones online for the 5 minutes we were waiting there. And her friends come up to us, and this girl looks at us and she's like, "How long's the line?" And we were like, "We don't know. We've been waiting for 5 minutes." And she's like, "But how long is it going to take to get there?" And we were like, "Girl, this place opened today. We don't know." She's like, "So you think like 20?" And we were like, we don't know." She's like, "Oh, so do you mean 25?" And she wouldn't
I remember at one point she
stop.
goes, "How long do you think these lines are on average typically last?" I'm like, "Girl, it's
She
a
wanted
line.
a
Wait in
clear
the
and
line."
she just she just wanted us to like lie to her and give her a number.
Yeah.
But we didn't feel comfortable doing that because we didn't know.
Well, she was very sweet. You could just tell she was nice, but she was very invested in the Mimi's line. So I hope, I know you got
I
offline
hope she
too.
got it.
I hope you got it today or eventually.
No, I think we saw her leave the line after we left the line. I
Right.
think she
I just said that.
oh, I missed it. My
Yeah.
bad. It just was weird because once we tell you we can't give you an answer the first three times, why would you ask a fourth and a fifth?
Maybe we just seem like friendly faces.
Totally. If you see us on the street, feel free to say hi, ask for a photo.
Photos, yes, not autographs.
I knew I knew that was coming up, but people don't understand your take on
No, and they
autographs yet.
they they won't get it yet.
And now it's time for our exclusive interview with JaxxSnax.
On today's episode, we have JaxxSnax, a classically trained French pastry chef and New York City creator. She studied pastry at the International Culinary Center in Soho, went from baking at family barbecues to working in some of New York's top kitchens, and turned a passion project into her own growing brand. And with that, welcome to Fork the City. Thank you so much for joining us today.
I can't wait to be here.
We are very excited. I want to jump right into it because this is kind of our new favorite go-to question, which is for the mother forkers, who is what we call our listeners who don't know, what's kind of the one sentence elevator pitch for JaxxSnax? Like, what is your brand? What are you known for? What has been the reason you've gained such a big following on social?
Sexy Babka.
Sexy, but wow, tell me more. It doesn't need to be one
I'm
sentence.
sorry, it's just like pretty short and sweet. I think it's just like my bubbly energy, but also kind of gym rat. Don't only wear a sports bra in my videos, making Jewish uh, pastries, but also French pastries and traditional things during the weekend. Babka, it's something I got pretty popular for, and I wasn't wearing a shirt while doing it. That's just always what I wear, kind
Yeah.
of in my apartment to bake.
Got it. Oh, is that what are you in the like sexy fit for every video?
Um, I'm definitely like I would say I'm not always fit in every video because some videos I'll wear a dress or I'll wear like a blouse or
Got
if
it.
I'm like trying to, have like more of a French, very elegant vibe, or I want to like do a nice beautiful cake, I'll put a dress on. So no, but I would say most of my videos are sort of just supposed to be fun and spunky and really energetic, which really, you know, is a really good way to just be in my regular norm outfit, which is sweatpants and a sports bra.
Mm, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you kind of mix dancer, gym rat with like the food content stuff. How did you realize that was like, how did those two worlds collide? How did you realize like that would be a cool combo that would like work for you?
I really didn't. I don't post that much dancing on my page, I'll be honest. Like you'll see a little clip it like here and there of me like moving like for 10 seconds in a way that's like, oh, is she also a dancer? That will be like, oh, but I don't take class anymore. I don't have like a teacher anymore. I'm not like in studio anymore. I did that when I was younger. It was something I was really passionate about, but I'm still passionate about it. So, for example, like one of the things is if you're in my kitchen and there's music on, sometimes I literally can't get anything done because I'm dancing the whole time.
Hmm.
Um, but I would say gym rat, a lot of my story content is like what workout I did that day, or, I'm very into working out and staying fit and healthy. So I think that I know it's like the combination of being a pastry chef and like that is not always the most palatable for people.
Hmm.
But you know what I mean? I don't know. It's like some people are very put off by it. Like, I don't trust you. Like, how do you know that it's good or not? Like, it doesn't look like you eat that. And, things like
Yeah.
that.
I
Um,
feel you. That makes sense because like we're pretty into like working out, workout
I was
oh,
gonna
classes.
say I used to work at Peloton and like I feel like I really was able to see a good balance with the instructors of being able to like stick to your routine but also live a little and enjoy what life has to offer, which food is obviously a big part of that.
I also,
100%.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the perfect balance because you get to work out all the time, you feel good about yourself, and then you get to enjoy food, and it's just a perfect mix of both.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm very happy with that dynamic. I love baking and I love cooking and I love working out. So it's kind of I always say like if I wasn't in the food industry, I would be in the wellness industry or the
Mm.
fitness.
I want to talk to you about kind of your early memories of food when you were growing up. What is your earliest memory of being like, hey, I want to cook, I want to make pastries, I want to just enjoy um, food in general? At what point were you like, this is my thing and this is something I want to pursue?
So for sure. So that's a two-pronged question, I'll say. The first prong of like my earliest memory, I would say, is it's actually funny because we're embarking on the Jewish holiday of Purim,
Hmm.
and I'm very busy for that holiday. And the first memory I have of baking is for that holiday. My mom's not a big baker, she's not a big cook. She did it and she always made us very good food, but it's not her passion. And I would say growing up, that's the one thing we would do together. We would make hamantaschen, the triangular cookies with the jelly inside or the apricot or the chocolate inside. And we did it every year religiously. And I always loved working with my hands in that way. And I'm also an artist. I draw, I paint. So I think I was just naturally on the more creative side. And then how it segued into me ending up as a pastry chef. I mean, it was an accident. I would say I don't think I thought I would be a pastry chef. I think I went to college. I gravitated towards like there was this program where I went to NYU and then I transferred out to the new school. It was called Food Studies and it was really interesting. It sort of had, food anthropology, food and culture, society and food, restaurants, food and movies, like all like health and nutrition. It had all of like what food represents to humans, and that's sort of what I studied in college. And then there was an offer to go to culinary school to get credit. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll go. And I'm like, I always like baking more than cooking. So I chose for pastry school. And
That is
then
really cool.
yeah, no, and after pastry school, I'm very, very ADHD. I can literally I can't finish a sentence. I start 12 stories. It's whatever. So being in the kitchen, it's like they force you to be focused on the task, but it allows you to expend all of your energy because you're constantly moving.
Hmm.
I really feel like that combination is what made me feel like this is the right move for me, at least to try it out. There's so much happening, right? It's not like we're focusing on this. I mean, sometimes you're focusing on shaping the same thing over and over again, like a hamantaschen or rolling dough over and over again, and it's getting boring, right? But there's a lot of diversity of things that happen in a kitchen for the most part. So there's enough variety that I don't get bored, you know.
And we had a question about like pastry, like training. Like that sounds intense. First of all, how long is that? How long is the
It
schooling?
depends what program you go to. I went to a program that was an intensive course, so it was only 6 months. So essentially, if you were absent at all, they kicked you out if you were absent 3 times. You were
Wow.
like it didn't matter, because and it's not because they didn't love you, but it was because you just missed too much information at that point for an intensive program for you to fully be able to comprehend everything we were learning, and there was no opportunity really to make it up because if you were in a class, that was the class. Like there was nobody else doing it at a later time for you to make it up for the most part. So, but there are like many culinary schools like CIA that it's like a 2 year, 3 year program where it's like really stretched out and like you really become, I think, very, very good at like making pie, let's say.
Hmm. I I want to transition a little bit to what you're known for. Looking at your menu on your website,
Yeah.
it's just a plethora of options, and these are all things that are just all calling my name. You have the almond croissant pastries, you have the olive oil cake, assorted cookies, just you name it. What are your top three best-selling items? And then, in your opinion, why do you think everyone is so in love with what you make? Like, how did you really start to get a following, and why do you think people just love it so much?
You want to know what my best sellers are? It's the
Yeah.
babka, it's kalas, and it's the salty chocolate chunk cookies. I think
Yum.
it speaks for itself. We're in New York. Babka's very hot here. I think babka, it never went out of style, but for whatever reason, it's having like a really sexy awakening right now. So I don't think it's just me. I think in general, like if you're doing a babka and you're talking about it, especially on the East Coast, like people are really down. So I would say in terms of like what I'm most popular for, you know, people just want the babka because it's always sold out because I do a drop system where it's like I only sell a certain amount every week and if you get one great, if you don't you don't. And it's just because I work out of my apartment, it's a lot of labor in my oven and there's so many like, there's so many reasons why I can't make more than a certain number of babkas. So I think it's a lot of it has to do with like the lack of availability, but also like my babka is made in a very technically difficult way, which I think sort of shines through. When people eat it, they're like, "Whoa, what did I just get?" And I don't know if you guys are familiar with Oneg Bakery's babka. It's the oldest
Yeah.
style babka. That's the one with 1,000 layers, which is literally, you know, 80% chocolate, 20% dough. And I think that I was constantly trying to finesse that, which with having a ton of filling, but also being able to have a really good solid dough that tastes good as well, that complemented each other. And the way that I figured out how to do this recipe was by incorporating a ton of folds throughout my process.
Wow.
Which really inhibits the growth of the babka, like when you rise it. But it really is worth it because that's ultimately what people are looking for in a babka for the most part. I very rarely hear people saying they want a bready babka. So typically they want a chocolatey babka.
I always want a chocolatey babka.
I
Yeah.
always want chocolate babka too. I have two questions. How long does it take to make a singular babka?
For sure. So you have to make the brioche, which that typically takes for me around 10 minutes. And then once the brioche is done, you put it in the fridge overnight and then you take it out the next day. I roll my dough really flat. I freeze it for about a half hour. I take it out. I put filling down. I fold it. I roll it again, put more filling down. I fold it again. I freeze it. I put it, I roll it again. I put more filling down. I shape it. I let it rise. I proof it, I bake it. So the whole process, all in all, is probably from the time the dough is ready to be rolled, it's like, it's a few hours.
Well, it sounds like more. It takes more than a day in a sense because you have to freeze it overnight too.
I actually find that as a grace period because it's like, oh, great, I could do it a day early. And then,
Right.
but then it's like if someone important wanted a babka, like a family member or whatever, and they're like, I really need one. I'm like, today, I'm like, I don't have it because it's a 2-day process. I won't rush the process. You know what I mean?
Which is really smart, honestly. It sounds like you put a lot of work into each babka, hence not being able to just mass produce them, which makes it so special.
I would be able to mass produce them if I had the right setup. But right now, I don't have the right setup. But in the future, definitely will have the right setup.
We were gonna ask, like, what would that look like, being able to mass produce it, create more? Would that be moving it out of your apartment? Would that be like renting out a space?
My apartment, actually. Yeah. So building a kitchen on Long Island to like, I don't know what the term mass produce is. Like, it's not going to be, I'm not going to ever be able to make 1,000 babkas a week. Maybe if I don't sleep at all. But definitely making, like, for example, like in my apartment, if I did nothing but make babka, I could get out a few hundred a week. But like, I make so many things. So that would never be possible. But in this new kitchen, I'll be able to bake a lot of babkas at a time, roll a lot of babkas at a time. So definitely at least times 5 what I'm doing now.
That makes sense.
Yes, you brought up Oneg Bakery, and I'm actually glad you did because I love Oneg, and I also love they have a sister location, Gabby. I don't know if you've had it. It's Fialco's up by White Lake, Gabby. It's in like Middletown, New York.
Oh, yeah,
That's like
yeah.
yes, and that's a great babka. So what I was gonna ask, without anyone listening, of course, order yours first. Do you have any bakeries in New York or the tri-state area that you also kind of look to and you're like, that's a good babka or that's a good pastry that you enjoy buying?
For sure. I mean, I definitely don't hit enough bakeries like I should, but it's because I really work a lot and on my off time, I really try to, not like I make good pastries. I try not to just like run around the city and like have babkas and stuff. But the thing is, like, I've had babkas from like the Bread's Bakery and Michali Bakery, and I've had it from Oneg. I've had it, and I did this babka event with a bunch of babka makers. A babka bailout. I've had a bunch of like babkas in the city. Like, there aren't that many. You know what I mean? There's a bunch, but I think they're all unique in their own way. But I think what I always am sad to find is it's never enough chocolate in the babka.
Yeah.
So that's like what your style is, lots of chocolate, which we both, Josh and I both love.
Yeah, because I think that you look at Oneg Bakery babka, and my goal was to make something French inspired by using French technique. I use French lamination technique, not with butter, but with chocolate. and that you cut into it, and there are videos on my Instagram. You legitimately see, like, am I looking at bread? Am I looking at chocolate? What's happening? And I think when you cut open an Oneg bakery babka, that's exactly what you see. You're just like, this is just gooey, chewy chocolate ripping your teeth. And I think whenever I talk to people, that's what they're looking for. So, like if I go to a bakery in the city, and I've been to a bunch, I don't know why their names are not sticking out to me, but they're all downtown. None of them are uptown.
I've found there are not a lot of good bakeries uptown, like just ones that I don't love. I feel
No,
like they're all
I don't like
downtown.
anything up here, really.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm a downtown girl, so I will
My
support
sister
that.
really
Same,
loves
I love downtown. I just live up here.
my sister really loves War Washers, but mm,
I
I'm
love
like,
so ore washers. They're good friends of mine actually. Like, I like them. I love their chocolate chunk cookies. I think they're
yes.
they're my favorite in the city
I was
personally.
gonna say the cookies are very good. I like their black and white cookies. That's my favorite kind of cookie, and I love their black and whites.
So I haven't had their black and whites, but I've had other things from them, and I really like them. I also like them as people,
Mhm.
so that's another reason. But like, yeah, in terms of bakeries uptown, I'm not like obsessed. I also just don't frequent bakeries because I am a baker slash
Yeah.
pastry.
Right, why would you when you can just make the best at
Well,
home for
because for
yourself?
research purposes, I definitely should more, but I work so much sometimes I'm like, is that what I'm going to do today?
Well, but do you have a dream collaboration, whether that is a restaurant, a bakery, or just an influencer or celebrity that you would either love to bake for, anything like that?
I really would love to collaborate with any Jewish food people like Jay Cohen, Eitan, Chef
Yeah.
Ben, like these people that, make Jewish. I'm missing so many. And forgive me, please. But,
That's okay.
you know, and not just them, but like so many other people. People like me, like there's this account called OKGG, and she makes sourdough, and her whole line is like she talks about like this sourdough Eloise, and like I literally die every time she puts out a video. She's Italian, I'm Jewish, but like we have a lot of similarities. Anna Sophia, she's like an Italian. She does anyone who has a similar vibe to me, like sort of sensual, like easygoing, very fun, upbeat, sort of like vibe cooking. Like I would love to work with anyone essentially that wants to like work with me and have a good time and like
Mhm.
yes, but in terms of those opportunities, they're very hard to get.
I believe
I
that.
don't have a million celebrities sliding into my DMs. I won't lie, yes, there are like a few people sliding in for the wrong reasons, but certainly not necessarily collaborate with me on like a babka, excuse me.
Sexy Babka, that's the brand.
Yeah, sexy babka.
Listen, I have to go with it at this point. So
No, I like it. I think your videos are
And
so fun.
and
I
it's
love
building a
them.
brand. Like that's the brand, and honestly, I love that.
You got to
I'm
be
just
different.
God gave me. I'm sorry.
Okay, we did have like some rapid fire questions for you.
Go for it.
I feel like I know some of your answers now just from talking to you. But are you
Okay.
more a chocolatey or fruity dessert person?
Chocolate. I don't even like fruit in my desserts. I
Well,
make
I was
it.
Thank
me
you. Thank you.
neither. But
Yeah.
we've been talking about how you like want to prioritize the chocolate. I'm like, there's if you said fruit, that would have really thrown me off. But
Okay, great.
we actually did an episode a few weeks ago how we got dessert from this place Eval, and it was like saffron flavored ice cream, and it was just like not it. We were like, we want a chocolate dessert. We don't want
I
saffron,
get
which was
that
like,
though. I get that.
do you know what saffron is? I feel like
Saffron, I like use that in my cooking literally all the time. I'm from
we
Great.
didn't know what it was.
No, so I'm from Great Neck. So like most of my best friends growing up were actually Persian.
Hmm.
So they cooked with a ton of saffron, and then it really, really like instilled a saffronness in my cooking. I use it once a week.
Wait, what is it
It's
in?
So I use saffron in the salmon recipe that I make. It has tomatoes, tomato paste, saffron, oregano, lemon juice, capers, and you like sort of mix it all together and pour it over, and then it has these like blistered tomatoes, and it's just so good. I make this recipe; it's just amazing.
have you ever considered doing like a cooking class or baking class? I would. I don't know about you, Gabby, but I know me and Jillian would sign up for that in a heartbeat.
I want to learn how to make hamantaschen and babka.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm dead. So yeah, for sure. When I have this kitchen, if there was a space for it, like And if there was supplies for it that like made sense that I didn't have to like break the bank with like
Yeah.
purchasing things like to have in my place,
Mhm.
because when you have a class you need multiple cutting boards, you need multiple of everything, which I have, but to a certain extent. But definitely with this bigger kitchen that we're making, I definitely am looking forward to having some of that. But I definitely think it would be hot in the city. But again, like if somebody hears this podcast and wants to set this up for me, I would love to do it. You know?
Do you like cookies more when they're like soft cookies or like crispy, well done cookie?
It needs to be a perfect combination. It can't be one or the other. It has to sort of be like crispy on the outside and like a chewy, soft texture on the inside. And it has to have salt, in my opinion. Some people
Wait,
hate
I 100% agree. I think the salt makes it so much better.
so good with the salt. My cookies always have salt on them.
Are you more of a sweet breakfast or savory breakfast person?
So it's a great question. If you want to know, honestly, I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and I have the same thing every day.
Wow.
I don't know if you could consider it a breakfast, but it's always an iced coffee with 2 tablespoons of almond butter, and that's it. And then, but that's the thing. Like when I'm on vacation, I'm always getting eggs, right?
Right.
So when like if I'm out to breakfast, it's always eggs, so savory. But if I'm doing my 4 a.m. like classic, I guess sweet because it's almond butter. It's just energy really quickly in the morning.
Okay. What dessert trend needs to end or are you against, if any?
Do you buy chocolate? Like I hope it's
Oh my
okay.
God.
But,
Yeah.
I mean, it's so funny that people are like bugged out all last year about Dubai chocolate. Because for me, it's just like, have you guys never heard of pistachio paste before?
Yeah.
You know, it's like now you guys are just waking up to realize pistachio paste is king. Like, it's essentially fouilletine, which is a French flaky like puff pastry that's baked really dark, but it's not. Like it's kanafe that's whatever. I jumped on the trend for a few recipes because I wanted it to gain traction on my page, but
You had to.
I wanted it to die so badly. I was so over everyone bringing it up.
Wait, I feel like it is kind of over. It's not as
Oh,
like
it's
down your
it's
No,
throat.
it's
over.
over, but it's only now that it's over that it's in every store.
I don't even know. Is it still in the Nuts Factory? Remember a year ago, like the Nuts
I don't
Factory
know. I
all
haven't
over
been.
the city. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I worked with them once for my food accountant. Like it was Dubai chocolate everything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, Wait, what's the like Jewish grocery store that I collabed with Josh last year that I'm blanking
On
on?
the Upper East Side?
Yeah.
Hurry.
Yeah,
Ori's.
are you thinking of Warriors?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
worked with them when they did their like Dubai
Dubai
chocolate soft
shake or
serve.
whatever. Yeah.
It was soft serve. It was good.
I saw they
Um,
just I think they just started doing pizzas like a couple weeks ago. I don't know.
and what ingredient is like the hardest to work with in pastry making?
It's what a good question. I think most pastry chefs would say it's between chocolate or butter.
Chocolate.
Well, yeah, like the actual ingredient itself, chocolate is one of the hardest things to work with because if we're working with chocolate, let's say we're making confections, which are like bonbons or like little chocolate treats and stuff, like you're constantly tempering chocolate, which is a whole up and down process of heating and cooling, and like it's very dynamic and difficult. And if you get a drop of water anywhere in anything, you ruin it. And there's like a lot of little nuances. If you overheat it, you're screwed. There's a lot of little nuances to using chocolate, like when making like chocolate stuff, and butter because butter is our best friend, but ultimately if it's not the right temperature during the technical process, it could really cause havoc on the recipe. Like for example, in a croissant, if the butter is too soft, it's going to leak out of the croissant and cause a mess. If the butter is too hard, it's going to break the croissant. The layers won't be as clear. If you put cold butter in a cookie dough, like, and you try to mix it, like, what are you doing, right? It's also, if you put butter that's not the exact correct temperature in a brioche dough, it's going to take 8 years to mix in. Or if you don't put the right temperature butter in a buttercream, it's going to mess up. So, I mean, that's me really thinking deeply about it. But
No, I love to hear that
That was a
answer.
good that was a very
Also
good
makes me
answer.
really sad because I'm like butter and chocolate is like what we love to eat and to know
for
that those are
sure.
the hardest things to work with.
Well, not like here's the thing. Like if we're making a chocolate chip cookie or like a chocolate cake or whatever, it's easy to work with. It's really
Okay.
when you're getting into like higher level confections, like we glazes on cakes and like making chocolate treats and things like that that we do temper, or decorations on cakes with nice tempering. Like I'll temper chocolate for a cake or whatever, and if I'm near any water or my hands are not cold enough or whatever, like I could really just screw everything up. So
It's so interesting to hear like a master of their craft talk about it because like here we are, we sit like Gabby, we joke about it. Like we're just podcasters, but like this is why I love talking to people who own businesses who, really work in the industry because hearing the insight is a lot better in my opinion than just hearing me talk about, oh, I didn't like this restaurant or I love this dish at this restaurant.
so my website is my Instagram handle, essentially.com. So my Instagram handle is JaxxSnax, or JaxxSnax. And my website is just that.com. So to order, there's a link in my bio. You could add your things to cart and then pick for either delivery or shipping. Based on what you pick, it will dictate where it could go. So you have to make sure you're clicking specifically the shipping menu for shipping items. And if you're just getting regular delivery, there's a separate menu for that. So you could order through the website and email through the website if you have questions about anything. And yeah, please follow and order. And I deliver throughout Manhattan and Great Neck, Roslyn, Port Washington, the Five Towns, Manhasset. That's where I deliver at, in all of Manhattan.
And that is episode 14 of Fork This City. Special shout out to JaxxSnax for coming on the show to talk about her babka, her business in general, and telling us her story, as well as Chada. We will be back for that Patsy Ew. I am your co-host, Josh Einbinder, joined alongside Gabby Martin. Gabby, anything else to add?
Yeah, so go join our giveaway with JaxxSnax to give one listener a free babka. And I think it's going to be a chocolate babka, which you need to try. Shout out Bob Martin. And peace out, motherforkers.